Hi, everybody. It's Nadia checking in our little fortresses that we all live in right now. This is a holiday weekend on many fronts. We have a Passover, we have Easter, we have Ramadan coming up. I think it's April 26th of this month. And so a lot of times that we normally gather, this is how we're gathering, right? But there's also something really special about today. 18 years ago, today, April 11th, 2002, when I turned 40 years old and I knew my whole life that something was going to happen or my life was going to change at 40, but I just didn't know what it was. And I remember waking up on my 40th birthday going, okay, it's here. And then nothing happened. And that night I went to sleep and I go, darn, I was so sure. Maybe the next day, maybe the next day. And, 2 weeks went by, almost 3 weeks went by. But it went from March 23rd until April 11th. And when I saw him, you would think it was like this big thunder clapping moment, but actually was very, very simple and easy. And it happened to me in a restaurant, if you could imagine. I was not alone, so I couldn't deny what I saw or hide it or never talk about it. It was like just right there in my face. But more important than seeing Christ, more important was what he said to me. And one of the first things he said to me was 1 ounce of pure love or pure intent will overcome any obstacle provided it's pure. And my first question was, how do I know if my intentions are pure? How do I know that? How do I even get there? But once he said that, it set my mind in motion because for whatever reason, I just never felt as good as other people. I didn't speak English until I was 5. So I thought everyone knew something I didn't for pretty much all of my life because I was already set in motion to think that way. Even though I didn't feel so bad about myself, but I did feel like everybody was way smarter than I was for most of my life until I saw Christ. And what happened? It was the first time in my entire life that I ever felt like everybody else. I felt like everyone else. I didn't feel better and I didn't feel worse. I just felt like I was one of many. But one of the most important things he said to me, and the only thing I want to talk about today, is that he said, there is no soul more important than another, and there is no soul left behind, not even yours. And at first it sounds great. Wow, no soul is more important than another, and there's no soul left behind. But when he said not even yours, that part almost made me cry. Because I did not realize that before hearing that, I really didn't go all the way in thinking of myself as important as anyone else. It was still new to my thinking as I was hearing him, as I was learning that everything starts here, starts with me. If I feel good, I look at the world in a good way. If I feel horrible, I look at everything that's horrible. It's not a mistake, the things we gravitate towards. But every time I'd look at another person, I would think to myself, wow, but to God, they're as important as I am. I'm as important as they are. And they're not going to be left behind, whether I like them or not, whether I know them or not, whether I agree with them or not. They're not left behind. And I don't have to agree with everybody to be important to God. I really feel and felt, and continue to feel, that I'm loved already. And what I decide to believe about myself is how I'm going to interact with you. If I believe I can do something, then I'm going to look at you and believe you can too. And you may come to me and say, oh, no, not me. You know, my whole life I never got what I wanted. And I'd be like, yeah, okay. When are you going to stop? Because I want to tell you that you are bigger than that you are better than that. In this time of all these holidays that have to be celebrated alone, as our earth regenerates and the birds start chirping and the bees start flying and the waters start repopulating, we had to leave it alone so it can be what it needs to be. And we had to be left alone and have to be left alone still till now to see what we can be, what you can be. Your soul is so important to God. Don't downplay who you are. Don't downplay your gifts. Don't think that what you do doesn't matter, because it does. Don't play games with yourself like that. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You never, ever, ever, never deserve to be put down by yourself or by anybody else. The problem is sometimes we bought what other people threw at us. And they may have forgotten long ago what they've even said to you. And you may have taken what they said and lived by it. But I ask this weekend of going back to the fork in the road, of celebrating and thinking of good times, to focus on the good that's happened to you. And if anyone gave you anything that you've carried and has become a burden on you, release it and just give it back to that person. Say, you know what? This person said, I am never going to be okay. And that actually wasn't my problem before that person said it. So I'm going to give them their energy back and release myself of what they believed, because it wasn't my belief. But because I didn't know that, I lived by it. And I just don't want it to take away from me anymore. This is a beautiful time in our lives. We are waking up from feeling dead in a very busy world. And now we're starting to miss the good stuff. So let's focus on what made us happy before. And let's start to begin the feelings that are really ours and giving back the stuff that isn't ours. Your soul is important. It is no less important than anybody else's soul. And in a really good way, there is no soul more important than another. We are all on equal footing. We just have different jobs to do while we are here. If you can look at it that way, you will walk out of this at the end of this time that we have been given to bridge our souls back to us, with more of you in hand. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.